My mans, my ladies, my people, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. We got a lot of stuff to do today, but we're gonna be starting today off with a simple task of removing the engine out of the WRX. Shouldn't take me more than like maybe 45 minutes or so. I need to get that engine out because we're prepping the WRX for its 6-speed swap. If you guys have been keeping track of things, I've been getting all of these STI drivetrain components ordered, found, sourced, bought for the WRX. So we've got 4 hubs, 4 axles, 2017 STI 6-speed, 2017 STI R180 rear diff. We have a MAP DCCD controller. We have the whole kit and caboodle to swap this thing, because remember, we're going to be turning the WRX into an STI. The WRX is still the daily driver once I get all of this done. For the meantime, the 2.5 RS, which I have chilling right there, is going to be the daily. So after we get the motor pulled on this, I need to work on the 2.5 RS. I pulled the codes on it yesterday with a really dope code reader, but it's got a bank 1 O2 sensor failure. Already have that ordered, should be getting delivered today. We're gonna be doing new spark plugs. We might do an oil change on it, and if I have time, I'd like to get it aligned today. I can align it myself. To be honest, I really just don't care to. I've already got the wide body kit ordered for that thing. I've got JDM clear side markers coming. I've got a whole bunch of like really cool stuff already coming for the GC, so I'm pumped for it. The wide body we're gonna mold on. It's gonna look dope. I actually talked to the company this morning. They gave me a call. We should be getting that in about 2 weeks or so. We also have a wide body coming for the STI at the shop. We have to build a wire harness for it. Dude, there's so much happening right now. Your boy's pumped for it. There's so much. Like I said, I need to get the WRX ready to receive all of these good STI components. We have 5x114 hubs. The wheels off the STI are going to be going on the WRX. We're going to be losing this wrap color. It was a cool color while it lasted, but to be honest, Hexus just did not last for me. So we're going back to silver. We're going to take the white Work Emotion D9Rs off the STI, put them on here. I need to buy wheels for the STI. I need to buy like 18x11 wheels for the STI. I'm just not sure which wheels I want to get quite yet. So these will be for sale soon, so that way we can get wheels for the STI. We got our turbo in for the WRX as well. I was going to return it and get a bigger turbo, but honestly, I think I'm just going to run that. It's a Precision 6262. I think it'll be good for power for what we're shooting for. I have all the raw material here to be able to build the rotated kit, so we got a lot of fun stuff happening. I also have to go powder coat these Brimbos for the WRX, dude. There's legit so much happening all at once. It's insane. It's just like build after build after build after build, and I love it, dude. There's something about these cars that I just fucking love. So we're gonna start today off. Let me get this engine yeeted out of here because it's not gonna go back in. This 5-speed is going to Matt, and I believe he's gonna be swapping it into the Legacy because that is a 5 EAT car. So I'm just gonna give him my complete 5-speed so that way he can use it in his car for a manual swap. So if you guys wanna see that, I'll link Matt's channel down below. I think that's gonna be happening probably in a couple of weeks. He's talking about wanting to blow up the 5 EAT in that car before swapping it, so we'll see what happens. But first, let me get this freaking engine out of here, dude. We have our EJ25 out of the WRX. This will not be going back in. We have a built motor going in. The heads we're going to keep and build the heads, obviously. We have a set of Kelford cams coming for this. A whole bunch of good stuff here. Now, I walked over to the 2.5 RS because I wanted to just see if I could access the O2 sensor from up top, so that way I don't got to go into the bottom of it. I have 100% found the reason as to why the 2.5 RS runs like this. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised this car drove back. So aside from this poor soul just having a rough life, whoever had this car at some point put this dumbass intake on it, okay? And there's a couple problems with this. A, the barometric pressure sensor has nowhere to go. B, there is no MAF sensor. It's gone. There is no MAF sensor at all in this car. So no wonder it's not running right. No wonder we're getting check engine lights. The O2 sensor actually might be fine, but the car has absolutely no idea. Looked it up. That's for the mass airflow sensor, from what I can find. This is not the mass airflow sensor. I don't quite know what this is. I'm pretty sure that's the baro sensor like Matt was saying, but there is legit no mass airflow sensor on this car. So it's essentially staying in, I believe it's either open loop or closed loop cycle. So it idles like straight up shit. And it drives like shit. And that's the reason as to why. So I hopped on eBay. I found something that might work for this. I'm kind of hoping it does. I don't think I have any mass airflow sensors sitting around that'll actually work for this car that are scaled properly. I think I only have some from like 2017 STIs and whatnot. So it kind of sucks. Actually, I have one from the WRX. I don't think it'll work though. I could not find another MAF sensor, so I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna do one more once over. I'm gonna check like fuses and all this other little random stuff here and there, just to try to get this thing somewhat rounded to be somewhat of a daily driver, because it's really beat. It's really beat. Like everyone in the video last time was like, it's super clean, it's super, dude, this thing clapped out, all right? We're gonna give it a new life soon, but I need it to work for right now. So let me run through this and see what I can find in here. So we're 3 quarts low on oil, leaky power steering, also low, which I topped off, no MAF sensor, bad O2 sensor, both the fog lights work, the headlights work, so at least all the lights work. But shit, dude, this is why Subarus get such a bad rep, man. People do shit to them, they don't know what they're doing, then they blow up and then they blame the car. Like, no, you deleted the MAF sensor when that's honestly absolutely needed. Insane. I'm just letting some oil circulate through there. All I had was break-in oil, so it got some 10W40 mixed in with whatever's in there now. So, dude, insane. 3 quarts low. 3 quarts low on this thing. I have some new spark plugs that we're gonna be picking up here in a little bit. I just wanna let that oil circulate through the engine a little bit. Like I said, I don't really care if this thing blows up. I just want it to last at least like a month. So, I bought a stock intake. Hopefully that'll fix the majority of the crap driving problems this thing has. The other one, I don't know why the ABS light's on. That's a little weird. All the fuses are good. It's plugged in. Not entirely sure, to be honest. While I wait for stuff to come in for the RS, I'm gonna start tearing out the 5-speed stuff in the WRX here. we're just gonna get all the wheels off. I'm gonna start at the rear. We're gonna get the rear hubs off, the e-brake drums, the rear diff, the drive shaft, obviously not in that order, but we're gonna start getting all this 5-speed stuff out, so that way I can start clearing up this back rack with all of our 6-speed components. I do need to, we're not gonna start installing any of this today, we'll probably do that in the next video. I need to pop off the rear housing on this transmission to be able to fix the reverse lockout. I've got all the parts for it, but I just wanna start getting all the 5-speed stuff out of here. So let's jump in here, let's start tearing apart our WRX, so that way we can start turning it into a little bit more of an STI. Sick! We've got this entire corner out. I've got the hub out, the axle out. I've got a bucket down there to catch all the fluid that kind of comes out of the transmission as it's still peeing out of there. But that's sick, dude! It's so naked in there. I just ordered the lower collars for the bags today from Bag Riders, so those should be here in about a week or so. I'm not too concerned with it. It'll just live on quick jacks for a little while. Over here, you guys can see we have the 5x100 hub, the brake disc, and the actual axle. I want to show you guys an STI axle in comparison to one of those WRX ones. This one's a little bit rusty, so don't mind it too much, but you guys can see how much, oh, I have this backwards. You guys can see how much beefier an STI axle is over a WRX. It may not look like it in the video as much, but these are significantly thicker than these WRX ones are. So these will take more power, they will take more abuse. This one is a little rusty, but it's whatever, it'll get the job done. It's an axle. It'll spin the wheel without destroying itself. So that's another big reason why we're going, like you can see, dude, on these WRX axles right there, they go from like a smaller diameter up to a bigger diameter, as where the STI axle is just bigger all the way. So that's kind of cool. That's dope right there. I'm taking this back because this is mine. Sorry, Matt. Next up, I'm going to jump on the rear and get this rear corner out as well. Look at that, baby boy. We got another one off. So 2 out of 4 are off. These upper joints are a little bit of a pain. They don't really want to come out. I recommend just kind of tapping the sides with a hammer to be able to get them to come out, or you can just tap down on the knuckle and it'll definitely help this guy come out. To take these knuckles off, it's really not bad. You've got one lower control arm out here, one here. You've got this guy. Okay, I guess you got 4 or 5 points of contact for the rears, but it's really not too bad. It's pretty self-explanatory when taking them apart. Make sure you pull out your wheel speed sensor so you don't absolutely chooch that. So I would like to get the other rear axle out so that way we can drop the rear diff. diff, drive shaft, and the 5-speed out of this thing tonight. The shifter linkage is gonna be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but now that we've got this side of the car done, I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the other rear just to get that one out, and then we can do the other front. It's pretty self-explanatory to get them out. It's just like 4 or 5 points of contact, and then they all drop out. Just kidding, we're gonna hold off on tearing out the other rear axle. We're gonna go to the shop because I have stuff to drop off. We're gonna take the dogs for a walk there. Melanie wants to get out of the house, so we're gonna swing over to the shop. I'm gonna kidnap the wheels off the STI, at least 2 of them for now, for the rears on this thing, because like I said, this car is getting the wheels off the STI, and the STI is getting a new set of wheels. Dude, I have dirt all over. Why didn't you guys tell me? I was so dirty. Why didn't you guys tell me? Yes, I had to forgive you. So, let us get the dogs and everything loaded up in the car. We're gonna hop in the GTI and jet over to the shop. I also need to bring the Brimbos over there because I am powder coating those tomorrow for the hatch. So, it'll be fun. It'll be a party. All right, guys, we made it over to the shop. I had to drop some stuff off over here, hook up a new power wire for the oven. The only unfortunate thing is I bought the wrong adapter for the oven wire, which kind of sucks to go from 220 to 220 because they're 2 different plugs. It's stupid. They should all just be the same. So I bought this one. Definitely not the same. So it's whatever. I'll return that. While we're here, I'm gonna go ahead and put the STI up on jack stand so that way I can kidnap at least 2 of the wheels today to bring back for the WRX. I'll grab the other 2 tomorrow. I was gonna powder coat the Brimbos tomorrow, but since I don't have the oven working, I don't think that's going to happen. So unless somehow Amazon can magically deliver that by tomorrow, which I don't think they can. So I'm gonna get the STI jacked up real quick. We'll kidnap 2 of the wheels, throw them in the back of the GTI, and continue with our day. What are you doing, little corgi?
Mama.
Mochi.
Hi.
Do you like being under the Subaru? She's like, yes. Quite feisty, isn't she? So we're only able to fit 1 wheel in the GTI because these guys are thick. I don't really know if these are going to fit on the WRX. These are 18 by 9.5 plus 23 on a 275/35/18. They may fit, they may not. If anything, we can flare the hatch, make it wider. These, like I said, these are coming off this fender. I believe we're losing this fender also, and we're gonna have to figure out our exhaust situation because we are doing a full carbon fiber wide body on this car, which hopefully should be here in, I don't know, a week or 2. Fingers crossed on that because this thing's, I feel like with the 6-cylinder in here, with the massive precision 7675 that we have back here, this car needs to look more aggressive. Like it's already very, I need to turn this heater off. Boop. Car needs to look more aggressive to like match the massive turbo. Also, I have everything here to build the wire harness. This is all wire harness stuff. Like this is all for the new Haltech harness. So we're gonna be starting on that soon as well. But I want to get the WRX at least up and running before we start tearing into the STI again. Like I said, I have a whole bunch of stuff coming for this car that I'm not too rushed on it. Our engine is still down at out front, so we'll jump back on you here soon. Baby girl, I miss you so much. But sick, I'll grab these other 3 wheels tomorrow when we don't have the dogs with us. And then we can figure out what color we want to powder coat those Brimbos for the WRX. So sick. Let's go jet back to the house. Probably pull these other axles tonight. So we just got back down to the house and I have one of the wheels just kind of mocked up on the WRX. Dude, I think I'm gonna keep the wrap and the white wheels. It actually looks good, surprisingly enough. Like that looks better than I was anticipating. I think we'll just rock the white. If they're too wide, we'll get some flares and we'll flare it too. Fuck it, why not? I think I'm done for tonight though. I think we're going to pull the other 2 hubs, the rear diff and the transmission in the morning. Dude, it's just getting so cold. So I hate the winter time. It just gets so cold and so dark so early. So if anyone wants those are for sale, by the way. Slide in my DMs, with or without tires. You gotta be local though, I ain't shipping them. So we'll be back out in the morning. Dude, those are gonna look so good. Good morning, my friends. It's the next day. It's cold, you can't really see my breath, but I can definitely see it. So I went ahead, we have all the hubs off of the WRX now. It's no longer 5x100. Right now, there's no wheel bolt pattern on there at all. So I've got all the axles and hubs and whatnot set aside for Matt over there. Next up, I'm gonna pop under the car, pull out the R160, pull out the drive shaft, and then I think at that point it's just shift linkage and then dropping the transmission. I don't know if we're gonna drop the transmission in this video. We may do it in the next one. We'll see how long the rear diff takes me. There should only be 4 bolts for the rear diff holding it up. I'm just gonna use a floor jack to support it as I bring it down, but let me crawl my happy butt under there and see if I can show you guys this real quick. All right, so down here we have our rear diff. This is an R160. STIs come with R180s. So to get this out, you've got a bolt here, you've got a bolt here. These are studs that come off of the face of the diff. Before you drop the diff, you are gonna have to disconnect the drive shaft, which is right there. There should just be 4 nuts, 4 bolts holding it in. And then on top of that, you've got this diff support here, and that's all that holds the diff in. So we'll come up here, we'll take out those 2 bolts there. I actually might do solid mount bushings in there, aftermarket bushings in there. I don't know yet. I'll hop on Rally Sport after this and see what I want to order. And then we'll disconnect these 2. We'll disconnect the prop shaft, disconnect the support. We are not going to be using this support. We have an STI one that we're going to be putting in also. And that's it to drop the rear diff. Just looks like it's a couple 17s, and this bad boy should pop right out. So let's get out our old R160 so that way we can prep our R180 to go in here, a big boy diff. We have the rear diff and the drive shaft out. This is the R160 that came stock in the WRX. Comes stock in all WRXs. This is the drive shaft that came out of the WRX. So a lot of parts are coming out of this thing. The transmission is ready to drop. Now, before you drop the transmission, make sure you come up into the interior. You are gonna have to come up in here. There are 4 12mm bolts that hold up. There's like a bracket right here. Once that is out, you can pull the bracket out and then push down all of the shifter linkage and everything down under the car. So now, we're gonna drop this bad boy down. I've got one Matthias helping me with this, so that way I don't absolutely crush myself with the transmission. So well, that should be fun. That should be oodles of fun. So let's get this 5-speed out of here. Let's get you out of here, my friend. The only thing holding this trans is 270. And if you need to readjust, I've got it on a jack and I've got it kind of balanced. You good? Yeah. Coming down. And we're down. Just slide this bitch out. We officially have no drivetrain in the car, you guys. We are now good to start 6-speed swapping this with our 5x114, our Brembos, the whole kit and caboodle. So here is our 5-speed. Now it turns out I didn't actually break this like I thought I did, where all the gear oil was coming out. It was we obliterated the seal for one of the axles when we were launching it a whole bunch. So cool. Glad to see that this thing came out way easier than I was anticipating it to. In the next video, we're going to start getting in all of our STI 6-speed stuff. We're going to start with probably the rear diff, the rear axles, the rear hubs. From there, we need to rebuild and fix part of this transmission because the reverse lockout on this is broken. So I do have all of the components to be able to fix the reverse lockout on this guy, so it shouldn't be too much of a pain in the butt. Once the reverse lockout is fixed, we can go ahead and slap her right in the car. Now, the only thing that Matt is keeping for his 5-speed swap on the Legacy, which he said it's a ways down the road, I guess, is the transmission itself and the rear differential. Dude, these are so tiny. I didn't realize how tiny 5-speeds were. It's ridiculous. I need to pull off the rest of the stuff on here, like the wiring harnesses and whatnot, the transmission mount, and all of the fun stuff on here. Aside from that, we're pretty much done with this 5-speed. Never to go into this WRX again. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, Tanner, why don't you just buy an STI? Why don't you buy an STI? What fun would it be to buy an STI when I could show you guys how to do a 6-speed swap? That's where the fun stuff comes in, right? Dude, it's so naked in here. Dude, there's so much room for activity. We could fit any engine we want in here, but we're sticking with our normal EJ stuff. But that is all I've got for you guys on this one. This is like, I guess we'll do this in like parts. So this is part 1 of how to 6-speed swap your WRX. First thing you gotta do is get out all the old 5-speed stuff, which really wasn't too bad, to be honest. We pulled a motor, we legit pulled a motor, pulled the trans, pulled everything out of this car in this video, which is kind of cool. So we now have a bare chassis ready to accept our 6-speed and whatnot. So we're going to be using an MAP DCCD controller on this thing. I also have a DCCD controller for the STI, but we're using an iWire one, the Spider controller for that car. So I'm curious to see how both of the DCCD controllers react and how they function. But dude, I'm pumped. We need to put a 6-speed in here. The 6 speeds feel way better than the 5 speeds, dude. I hated the 5-speed, to be honest. It never wanted to go into reverse, never wanted to go into first gear. It'd grind every now and then. The gear ratio was kind of nice, but at the same time, it kind of sucked. So I'm excited. I'm excited for it. So if you guys are pumped for the WRX build, turning it into an STI, and some people are gonna get mad about me calling my WRX an STI now. I don't give a poop. Probably faster than most of the other ones out there. So sick. If you guys are pumped for the WRX to STI swap, if you guys are pumped for the GM6, I keep calling it a GC. The GCs are 4-door, the GMs are 2-door, or the STI, go ahead, hit that like button. We're gonna start on, because the GM, I'm gonna start acquiring parts for, we are more than likely doing an EJ207 in that car. I know I've talked a lot of stuff about EJ207s in the past, but it is period correct for the car. Technically an EJ22T would be more period correct, but we're gonna do an EJ207. I-wires, a whole bunch of stuff for the car, so it's gonna be awesome. The STI stuff we're starting up on here soon. The WRX is taking priority right now because I want that car back as my daily driver. Don't get me wrong, the coupe is okay as a daily driver, but it kind of sucks right now. There's no heat, the dash lights don't work, the engine runs like absolute dog garbage, whatever you want to call it. So I'm trying to get the WRX kind of sorted first, but anyway, I'm fucking just talking on my ass now. Anyways, if you guys are not subscribed already and you want to be one of these corners, no idea which one I'll put it in quite yet, and with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.